All right. Awesome sauce. I just got the notice that I am now live on YouTube, but the YouTube thing is still loading. So I just muted my little self and I'm going to go over here and I'm bang on, man. Woo! I'm bang on noon today. I'm not late. Ugh. Not something that I like to be. That's just me. So I hope everyone is doing well and taking care of yourself, doing lots of self-care. That was me. I ended up after a tremendously stressful week at work during the day and have been coming home because it's still warm enough here in Michigan to set up that folding chair outside about 9 o'clock when it's nice and dark out and hang out with the dog and put your feet in the grass. It's still warm enough to be able to do that. And it was pretty awesome. Saw lots of activity in the sky, planes, and other things. I got a lot of little interesting pictures, and the pictures are pretty cool, actually. Well, this was September 13th, so I don't know what that thing is, but it's pretty cool. So, I mean, more recently, though, just last night, I'll take picture, and then all of a sudden, that third or fourth picture is going to be completely different color. I haven't moved, and it's just different. You know what I mean? So, give you an example. Where was last night? Yeah, I took a lot last night. So I took three pictures, and it was like, holy crap, the sky is absolutely freaking full of these beings, these energies. I mean, they're just everywhere. I mean, check that out. Look at how big that one is. Holy crow. And then, wow, look at that guy. And then, boom, all of a sudden, I haven't moved. I haven't moved. I haven't moved. Just click, 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 and then boom, it's pink. And then I'll move, and sometimes it's different and sometimes it's the same, but there's been a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if it's related to some of the solar activity or any of the eclipses, but there's just a lot of busy bit of business going on. Not only what we can see in our 3D realm, but definitely what's going on otherwise. All right, so yeah, I still need this little guy here. Excuse me. So sometimes things come to me and sometimes they don't. I'm going to try and make sense of this. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I don't know why certain things pop up into the feed that they do, because it's not even something that I would necessarily have clicked on if I had seen the little, title of it. I would not have clicked on it. I would have probably scrolled past it. But something that had popped up was about the free energy generators, two different kinds. And then there was another one that came up. I know that people say that NASA is never a straight answer, but there was also somebody else one that said never something like never an astronaut in space or something like that. They messed around with it. But anyway, I guess the whole thing is that some people do, some people aren't sure, and some people don't believe. And I think there's a lot of distraction that everybody will probably agree on. There's a lot of distraction. But and a lot of people will say, stick to the program, stick to the plan. And I kind of started pulling back and looking at everything. And it seems like it's a program in and of itself. And it's a choice to follow, how much to believe. And it's almost like things are like a compilation. Some of it might be true, some of it might not be. Like the one guy that I thought was really weird, it's like, where the heck did this come from? Of course, claiming to have some inside information, was not willing to divulge who it was, which sends up the red flag automatically. Said that, people have been seeing a lot of activity, which I did for a, significant amount of time, especially since it's getting darker earlier here in the Northern Hemisphere. This guy said that there have been experimental lasers that they've been using on the firmament to make it look like there are craft. They've also been testing it, and you would call it a blind test because the military pilots don't know anything about it. Now, how this guy knows about it, I don't know. He said that the military pilots would say, hey, look at that. And they would believe they'd seen a craft, the pinpoint, the shape, whatever. So they're manipulating these lasers to project images. How funny is that? Project images off the firmament. And they believe, the pilots are believing that they're seeing craft, etc. Be careful with that because it could be true, but it also could be false. It's okay. So it's probably being put out there to muddy the waters. They're going to come up with enough evidence to probably just go ahead and say it. This is just me. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who knows somebody who claims to even know anybody. Well, except for maybe one person who's talked to people who claim to know people that supposedly experienced. Whatever, that's irrelevant. When your boots on the ground, like us, and you're seeing all these different stories that don't line up, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and start gifting yourself with your own intuition and be open-minded, even though you're positioning yourself in a place where you feel a little more comfortable about what's happening, what you're being told. And I guess the reason that this is maybe coming up because things are going to get ramped up over the next few months, few years, and people think that they have it all figured out. You're the ones who are going to get knocked off your feet when that rug gets pulled out from under you. So keep an open mind, be ready for anything, be ready for the unexpected if possible. So yeah, is sticking to the plan another way to convince people to not discard that program, that belief system that you have? Be more open-minded. So I believe I mentioned that it was a kind of a wackadoodle week. I've been working in the same day job for about 4 years, at the same agency for almost 4 years. Previous to that, it was about 2 other places for about a year in the mental health field. It was really difficult for me to make a transition to take a promotion at a place that's a little bit farther away. It means less time at home with the dog. I'm working on that. But for me, it was a period that I needed to step away from a very toxic setting for me. There was, and everybody needs to kind of make that assessment. Are you in a place and in a position where you're going to be able to manage what's going to be coming down the pike in every facet of life? Everybody's got things figured out, man. Oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This is going to strike. That's going to strike. We're not going to have this. We're not going to have that. Yes, it's a good idea to be prepared. I would not call myself a prepper, but I feel like I'm reasonably well prepared if something does halt. In every aspect, kind of questionable if it gets too cold out. That's going to be a tough one here. So it came to me, this was October 2nd, 8:12 p.m., that everyone has a unique path that they've chosen to follow. All right. My path isn't your path, and your path isn't my path. We might cross paths, but we're all on a unique path. And the big key thing is self-discovery. This is all about essentially what I talked about before, even though that came to me, I think, last night. This was 2 days earlier. So if you've chosen your path to be hopefully not necessarily as far as you can possibly get from mainstream, I mean, that's kind of me, man, between family and people at work and the grocery store and wherever you happen to cross another person's path. I'm really surprised at how many people are open-minded, and then shocked at how many people are closed-minded. And it depends on the topic too. Wow. I think the more educated, corporate, structured education, certification, keep an open mind. I got some letters after my name, but dang Skippy if I don't have an open mind. Only because I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater with the things that I've experienced personally. So yeah, so I'm trying to get away from like mainstream, or what a lot of societies in the US would call or consider normal. What I'm doing is I'm trying to find people as diverse in regards to their experiences in their life from my own. So I think in the last, I'm going to say 15, 20 years, probably, I've spoken to murderers, rapists, pedophiles, freedom fighters, refugees. I mean, you just basically name it. Sunday school teachers, atheists, every faction of belief and lifestyle that you can imagine. Just about. Some I'm going to avoid, depending on the circumstance. And I really think that most of these people are outside of my current position as a mental health professional. I was told to keep in mind that no matter who I talk to, whether it's a client or a coworker or a colleague, that everyone needs to be treated as though not necessarily that they have a mental health disorder per se, but they are potentially emotionally fragile. I can't do that. I can't treat everybody with kid gloves. You have to meet people where well, you don't have to. I try to meet people where they're at. You meet people however it is that whatever your goal in life is set up to do. I can't say that you're not going to do the same. I can't say that you're going to do something different. I guess the point is, and it flabbergasted me when I first read it. Once I started watching people, like how they interacted with others, and the glances and the looks, and sometimes just there's a difference between when somebody smiles at you and when somebody smiles at you. All right. I mean, there's whole different ways that you can interact. Okay. Yeah. So they interacted with others, and the glances and looks and whispers, the whispers. Oh my gosh. I do not tolerate gossip. Ugh. You got some good intel that's going to help somebody keep safe. Yes. But don't go spreading that around. That's hurtful because it's happened to me. Total lies, total fabrication, and it damaged my reputation within that particular agency, not where I'm working now, thankfully. And the other person that was on the other end of that, who they were gossiping about me with another person, it was right. You get the picture. They knew about it and I didn't find out about it, and I reamed them out royal. I quit shortly after that because I couldn't change that culture. That culture was way too far gone. So anyway, I'm also not a big fan of cliques. I get it. It's a way of people like feeling like they're safe. But if you walk up and don't acknowledge another human being and at least say, just a minute, or I'll be with you in a second, or can I come see you in a minute? If that's okay, thank you so much. But I've had so many people when I walk up and I stand back, they see me standing there and they will actually position their body and turn their back to me. I've had people look me right in the eye when I would ask them a question and they would talk to someone over there and then walk away. Not even acknowledge that I had a question, verbally or non-verbally, just walk away. And it's like total disrespect, very low. If people think that that's going to, if you got to be strong enough to take that kind of BS, because it's, okay, so there's a term for it. It's called microaggression. That person didn't even have to say anything to me. They didn't have to give me a mean look. All they had to do was start talking to somebody else, look away, and walk away. And I know they heard me. They were not standing, but maybe 2 feet away from me. And they even left their belongings on the credenza of where I was sitting. Anyway, really rude people out there, man. My reaction, okay. So I typed out my question and I sent them a message and I didn't say anything. And I just got carried on with my job. Was I irritated for a minute? I'm not going to lie. Yeah, that was funny. I heard somebody talk about that. Of course I'm not. Anyway, so that being said, yeah, you kind of have to treat people like they're hypersensitive, because people are hypersensitive. People got to start getting a little thicker skins, man, and just give your brother some grace, right? Right. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So at that point, I kind of knew I was on the right path. One of the things that I have to stress again is that just because I've chosen the path to talk to some people and interact with some of the people that others would not within a normal society, or what you would consider as normal, that doesn't mean that you need to do the same. You can do whatever your path is. Maybe your path is to go buy a big piece of land and sit on top of a hill and clear whatever you got going on. That's not for me to say or choose or dictate. There's an aspect of no matter where you are or what you do and how you conduct your life, there's one thing that is universal. Try to remember, please, please, please. Really important. Forgiveness is everything. And a lot of people are going to get a really bad taste in their mouth with that. I heard several years ago, with all the shenanigans that we were going to be going through right now, that forgiveness is going to be the biggest, most difficult thing that people are going to have to manage. And it doesn't mean that you have to forgive everybody about everything. No, there are levels and strata and angles and facets of that in and of itself. Just when you come across it, know that it needs to be at least acknowledged. If it's something that you can't access that person, or you feel like you need to kind of cut that emotional cord, it doesn't mean you have to go knock on your neighbor's door, family member's door, and say, I'm so sorry. Might, you don't want to get throat punched by your neighbor or your family member. Not advocating violence. That's what I'm telling you. You got to use your own discernment. So what does it mean that if you have no longer have access to that person, you feel like you've wronged them or something like that? Maybe they passed away or you no longer have the ability to contact them or even write to them. So the biggest thing about forgiveness is the first thing you need to do is forgive yourself. Not necessarily that you wronged someone, but you need to forgive yourself. Well, that too. But you also need to forgive yourself for allowing that other individual to wrong you. Ouch. Right? What came to me after that was the Ho'oponopono. I used to struggle with that. I felt like I was choking, but anyway, it's basically you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Look it up if you can, even if you misspell it. I'm sure that our friendly little AI minions will find it for you. So, anyway, that's kind of what I had for today. All right. So I am going to continue this on the other platforms. I got a couple of things that I'm going to be going to announce on there. And I have set some cameras up. So hopefully I'll be able to push the right button. So what I'm going to do is stop on YouTube, but please do. Thanks so much for the new subs, the emails, the contacts, the discussions all through the week. They're incredible. One of the things I do, I kind of clear the area beforehand, and I found this. These are giant, aren't they? They burn. Oh my God, they smell so good. Frankincense and myrrh, jumbo incense. It's called a charcoal punk. So I like the charcoal, and it's intenseincense.com. Totally cool, all handmade in the United States. Really liked it. You can get other sizes and flavors, if you will. So anyway, I like that. I'm going to put this back up over here so it's out of the way. Hopefully it won't fall. There we go. All right, you guys. Blessings. See you later next week. I don't know. I start a new job. I got a promotion and it's going to be different. Life's just going to be different. I feel like I can breathe now. Had a little anxiety about it last night, but it's all good. All right. Blessings, everyone. See you next week. I hope. Like, share, subscribe, all that good.